Hey everybody, this is Mark here at Gary's Guitars in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I'm here today to talk about a concept I call scamflation. Now, you've heard of inflation. Well, this is related, and you've heard of scams. Well, this is actual scamflation. It has two aspects to it as I kind of characterize it. So I thought I made this word up. I looked it up. There is a definition in the Urban Dictionary, but it doesn't fit this definition, so I'm inventing a new definition. Also, I'm sitting here with these guitars. Usually on this channel, I talk about guitars and in the business of being a small retailer. But this goes a little bit beyond that. So if you're up for it, stick around. Let's talk economics and scamflation. So there's two aspects of scamflation. One of which is things that have been scams are even bigger scams than ever. And what do I mean by that? And we now have scamming in our daily life. I need to call about a water heater that needed to be replaced. And I talked to, I called the old plumber's office, and that plumber said, or the person answered the phone, Bob's retired, but he's doing part-time work for this other company. Called them and see. And so I called, and they're like, water heater, great, we can replace your water heater. Let's see here, and you kind of hear like, where is it? $3,330. Very specific number. And if you write a check right now, if you pay right now, we'll put you in line. We can get to you next week. And I was like, no thanks for now, thanks. Because previously, like 5 years before that, when I'd been, I'd asked a plumber about, this thing, flat rate pricing, and which essentially this is. They didn't ask any of the details. He said I charge $1,000 to do a water heater, which then seemed a little high because I actually changed the water heater myself, and it took me, several hours, and but I'm not a professional plumber, so a water heater costs $600-ish, and everything else is kind of, is markup. And the thing is, the person who shows up to put in the water heater isn't even getting this insane markup. It's whatever the private equity company is that bought the plumber's small business and integrated into this larger business, and whatever the thing. I wasn't falling for it. Also, an oil change at the dealer is now $300. So some oil and a filter. Used to be $39.99, now it's $300. I was just at the dealer recently, and I was pretty shocked by that. But they're doing flat rate pricing there now too, and everything is by the book, flat rate pricing, kind of, and priced in considerable profit, considerable upside. And this is the part that figures into the economy of guitar stores, which is everyone's looking for the outrageous upside, just do something and charge a lot for it. And this here on YouTube, some people, like, hey, take my course. It's only $500. Come on, learn how to run a small business. And so there's that scamflation. Things that have been previously scams or scammy have just gotten scammier. Now, the other part of scamflation is interesting because things that used to seem like a scam now seem kind of reasonable. I had a friend who bought a timeshare condo in the 80s. That used to be the biggest scam. But now he gets to stay at a pretty nice resort for $170 a week. And that resort is now $350 a night. So buying the timeshare, turns out, wasn't that bad a deal down the road. I had a friend living in Miami who his condo fees were $600 a month. And I was like, that's kind of paying rent to live in your own house, $600 a month. And then I realized it's not that bad a deal because they do the gardening. There's a security guard at the end of the street who checks everyone coming and going. They got all this kind of technology going. They have a little, private security thing. They maintain a pool for all the residents to use. They pick up the trash and such. And so it kind of turns out that 5 years ago I thought this was a scam, But now because of scamflation, it's like, that's pretty good, because I had 2 gardeners come over to my house and do some gardening, and it was $90 an hour, 45 for each of them, I think, or something. No, 100 and something probably. I don't know. It was a bunch of money. I didn't feel bad about it because I hired independent people, and so at least I'm paying someone who needs money and who's not going to just, that money's just going to go into some bigger pile of money that's meaningless. But still, it makes you think. Maybe $600 a month isn't a bad condo fee. So, what's the future of scamflation? It is going and going. I just see it popping up every day, more and more. They put in the disguise of flat rate pricing. And some people, someone I know who's a contractor says, I know people, they price out the whole job and then they multiply it by 2 at the end. And that's their estimate. And they're not just pricing in some loss or spoilage or anything. They do a good pricing of it, and then they multiply it by 2. And if you don't want it, I'll go somewhere else. So it gets wrapped in this kind of guise of like, you don't want to pay for quality, and then But when we talk about the scam of private equity, we have to say like this: about people, getting increasing demand on your wallet by people who aren't you, and by people who aren't people who are just part of a big company. So the future of scamflation is real, and so I'm doing this thing where I'm just getting things done. Like, oh, I'm gonna get heat pumps put in my house because right now, $10,000, it seems like a lot of money for that work, but wait a year and it's gonna be $15,000. And where does it end? Well, it doesn't end, I don't think. It's here to stay. It's part of our new capitalist reality. So that's scamflation. Thanks for watching. Next time I promise to talk more about guitars and amps and fun stuff like that. But I just wanted to get this off my chest, so to speak. So watch all the other videos here on YouTube. Subscribe and like and all that kind of stuff. And I'll talk to you soon.